admit anyone. Can anybody identify Bartos? I can't pronounce his surname.
Yeah, he's a strange person.
Woodchick.
We should probably put him in a waiting room until someone can identify him.
Yeah, do
Yeah.
that.
Yes, Navin. Please
Yeah.
do. Thanks.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Namaste, Assalamu alaikum, and good evening, good night, and good morning to all of you. We are pleased to have people at this meeting from all parts of the world in different time zones. I am Ashley Sinanan, an independent researcher specializing in historical studies. I hold a bachelor's degree in history with a minor in literature from the University of the West Indies. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the 298th edition of our ICC Thought Leaders Forum. We wish to sincerely thank all of you who have contributed in whatever way to the success of this ongoing Pan-Indo-Caribbean and Pan-Indian Diaspora Global Girmitiyalogy project. For 297 unbroken continuous weeks, we have been here every single Sunday. In the past 5 years, 9 months, and 2 weeks, we have featured 1,195 presenters from all parts of the world speaking on 297 topics. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a weekly forum being hosted by the Indo-Caribbean Cultural Center, a legally registered research and publishing company operating since 2010. In order to continue this weekly program and to make it bigger and better, we are asking for suggestions and volunteers. If you give a donation, your name will be placed on our poster and all promotional materials. Please contact Dr. Mahabir for details. Ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce our moderator today, who is Shalima Mohammed, the co-director of this ICC Zoom platform, who is a business teacher and a researcher from Trinidad and Tobago. She obtained her master's degree in business psychology from Franklin University in the USA.
Thank you very much, Ashley. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Namaste. And a warm welcome to all of you. Thanks so much for choosing to be here with us. This program is being recorded on Zoom and live streamed on the YouTube channel of the Indo-Caribbean Cultural Center. So I want to welcome all of you on YouTube at this time. To avoid intrusions from trolls, our IT manager has muted everyone. So speakers, please do not admit anyone, do not unmute anyone, and do not allow anyone to share your screen. We appreciate your cooperation. Today, we are very pleased to be talking about ambassadors for Girmitiyalogy, the academic discipline on indentureship and its legacies. And you'll have an opportunity to meet those ambassadors today. Just a little bit about Girmitiyalogy. It is an emerging interdisciplinary field that offers faculty and graduate students a rare opportunity to help shape a new area of scholarly inquiry from its foundations. Centered on the global histories and living legacies of Indian indentured laborers, known as Girmitiyas, the field addresses one of the most significant yet under-theorized systems of migration produced by colonial modernity. It examines how displacement, labor regimes, and cultural survival gave rise to enduring diasporic societies across the Caribbean, Fiji, Africa, and other regions of the world. For faculty, Girmitiyalogy opens a generative space for original research, curriculum development, and cross-regional collaboration. It invites scholars in history, sociology, anthropology, literature, cultural studies, religious studies, and diaspora studies to engage with newly recovered archives, oral histories, and community knowledge systems, advancing innovative methodologies and comparative global frameworks. The field foregrounds questions of intergenerational trauma, resilience, resistance, and identity formation that resonate across disciplines and contemporary debates. For graduate students, Girmitiyalogy offers a dynamic intellectual home for doctoral and master's research that is both rigorous and globally relevant. As a developing field, it provides uncommon opportunities for theoretical contribution, archival discovery, and community-engaged scholarship, enabling students to position their work at the forefront of emerging conversations in migration, colonial studies, and global diaspora. As an interdisciplinary programmatic focus, Girmitiyalogy strengthens institutional commitments to decolonizing knowledge, expanding the global humanities and social sciences, and fostering meaningful connections between research, teaching, and lived experience. Participation in this field is not only an academic pursuit, but a collective investment in building a more inclusive, globally attuned scholarly future. And it gives me great pleasure to welcome the founder of Girmitiyalogy and the person who introduced it at Lucknow University in India at the end of a masterclass in May of 2025. Professor Dr. Shardhanand Harinandan Singh was born in Suriname and now lives in the Netherlands. He is Professor of Girmitiyalogy and Migration Studies at the European Institute of Management and Technology in Zurich, Switzerland. Welcome, Baba.
Thank you. Namaste, salam, everyone. And at first, I want to thank the ICC, special Dr. Kumar Mahabir, Salima Muhammad, and the team that you have created an opportunity to present today our new beacon ambassadors. It is a journey. It is a family journey. We want to unite all the Girmitiyas, the descendants of the indentured labor, bring them together and look what we can do to look after the past from today, present, going to the future. That means we are going to look to our ancestors from today. We are scholars, so we can do that. That is what we are to collecting them, bonding them to look to the future, because a lot of problems we have to solve. There are a lot of challenges, and I will tell you that this needs to make one big, two hands together to do this job. And looking for the Girmitiyalogy operations, we have had the chance to find for Girmitiyalogy ambassadors and what they are going to do, what are their portfolio, they will tell you. But give me the PowerPoint now to explain, give you a scope, a kaleidoscope. What is Girmitiyalogy? As you see, that is our emblem, and that tells a lot of things, three things. You see that is study, but that is also connecting. Connecting is a very important thing globally. There's a problem. Next one. Then, Akash of Salima, would you like to read this for me?
Sure, no problem. So, what is Girmitiyalogy? This paradigm refers to a new interdisciplinary study in the domain of global Girmitian past, including the present and future of their descendants. Various academic disciplines can be involved, such as history, English, Hindi, sociology, psychology, social psychiatry, anthropology, and pedagogy. We have a website. It's https girmitiyalogy.com. This is the academic knowledge portal dedicated to the study, education, and digitization of the history of Girmitians.
Okay, thank you. And this website was launched in Lucknow by the Vice Chancellor Manuka Kannaji. That was on September 18. And I think I can invite everyone to go to this website and find what they are going to do, what are the plans, and what you can do. Next one, please. Next slide. Well, this is the ontology. How begins it? Akash of Salima, you are going to read this too for me?
After a 15-day international masterclass on digitizing Girmitiya archives at Lucknow University on the last day, May 30th, 2025, the paradigm Girmitiyalogy was introduced by Dr. Shardanan Harinandan Singh as a visiting professor of transnational migration studies. The website was officially launched, as he just said, on the 18th September by Lucknow University, with support from Professor Dr. Onkarnath Upadhyay and Vice Chancellor Professor Dr. Manuka. In this regard, the support from Jiglas Madhubani was prominent and helpful, and Baba will tell you a little bit about what Jiglas is. This serves as our academic knowledge portal, devoted to research, teaching, and the digital preservation and public accessibility of the historical heritage of Girmitiya communities. That is the website, which can be accessed via URL https://girmitiyalogy.com.
Okay, thank you. The GLASS is the Global Girmitiya Lineage and Archive Searching Center. And that is special. They have an own website. Special, we create this to help people in complicated, the problem cases. It's just like Mission Impossible. And I know that a lot of the third generation, mostly, they want to have a good connecting with the ancestral village, but a big of problem, and that is one of the issue what we want to do. The second thing what I want to add here is that we are working with universities and the NGOs, and that is now concentrated in India, but next time we are going to do this work in the Caribbean area. Next one, please. Okay, then I want to talk about the bond. Why are we bonded? The factors is bonding the ancestral life events of the Kalapani. You know, I think from my generation, we know what our Aji, Nani, Nana, Aja has told us about their journey crossing the Kalapani. And I think every descendant knows this one, that is intergenerated, just like going to generation to generation. And that is some factor is bonding us. That is very important that we have a collective history of the Kalapani crossing. That means that we have worldwide an equal, let us say, an history, a common history. The third factor what is bonding is is that we have to face of that is in Trinidad, of that is in South Africa, or in Suriname, or in Guyana, or Mauritius. We have to face a lot of challenges. And maybe you know better than I know what you are facing, challenges what you have, and you meet daily in the interaction in your multicultural society. The third factor, what I see that is bounding us, is that most of all want to be connected with our ancestral civilization in India. And these three factors make that we can speak about one big family bounded by these three factors. Next one. That is the boat. It said that it is Lalaruk, but it is not Lalaruk. I think it is another boat. But go on. That is the crossing the Kalapani, one of the factors. Next one. Okay, the principles. Please, Salima, would you like to read this to me? Very
Sure.
important to know.
Excuse me. So the principles which will govern Girmitiyalogy operations are based on Itihasa, thus, indeed it was. That means it seeks an authentic, lived history that integrates factual record, collective memory, and ethical truth, going beyond archival or colonial narratives and transferred from generation to generation, including lived experience and scholarly moral reflection.
Okay. Next one. Okay, this is very important to know. From May 30 in Lucknow, and Akash will tell us more about that. We have been working together with Banaras Hindu University, the Lucknow University Muslim. Now we are working with the Jawaharlal Nehru University, the GLAS and the ICC. And we came together and we were thinking, what are we going to do? What are the problems? What is common for everyone? It is a science. We are not busy with cultural work. The focus is science. So, and to focus on the domain of Girmitiyalogy, we have 4 areas, and maybe you can read that for me, Salima. It's too small for me.
Sure. So, very importantly, firstly, archival justice by recovering and analyzing digitized records. Secondly, cultural identity, understanding Girmitiya heritage and loss of cultural continuity in relation to hybridity. Thirdly, preserving languages, arts, and traditions for survival. And fourthly, educational integration, embedding Girmitiyalogy in curricula.
Okay, the last one is looking what we can make a curricula for MA, for BA, for a PhD executive, but also for the secondary school, the primary school. That are things what we have to do together. And I am very happy that our range is growing. The awareness of Girmitiyalogy was till a half year of maybe till May 0. I cannot say 0, but in India they have blocked every educational information about the British Raj, the colonized, because they know that there has been done things, violence, demonization. That's why people do not know nothing about Girmitiyalogy and the Girmitiyas, but now the awareness is creating, it is arising. And besides of that, there are a lot of universities there and institutions. We are busy with the subject, but they are doing by their own way. Girmitiyalogy wants to help them when they are making curricula, etc., that they must know what is the itihas. And that is our approach is not only scientifically, it is itihas, and that we can explain what that means. These are the 4 areas, and I think the last one I have found the Bollywood king, the city, the Marwa Studios in Noida, and we have already a relation, a kind of memorandum of understanding. Why? Because there are many studies, scientific studies, which shows that the impact of Bollywood on the developing of the identity and the cultural heritage is very high. So I've asked my colleague Marwa, what can we do in such a way we can work together? And that's why I have a special ambassador, not only special that, but she will do this, and I will see who the person is. Next one. The conclusion, please, Salima.
Okay. So, Girmitiyalogy seeks to consolidate its foundation through sustained international cooperation with academic and social institutions. Since its inception, collaborative engagements have been initiated with Lucknow University and Banaras Hindu University, with preparations underway to extend cooperation with Jawaharlal Nehru University. The phase prioritizes strategic partnerships with the international platform, here, Indo-Caribbean Cultural Center, addressing Girmitiya affairs. These partnerships will underpin joint research, cultural exchange, and digital archiving across the global Girmitiya network. Within this process, the Global Girmitiya Lineage Archives and Searching Center, GGLAS, under the leadership of Dr. Binod Kumar Singh and dedicated staff, plays a pivotal role in this global restorative endeavor. The Sandeep Marwa Studios in the Filmland Noida, UP, Uttar Pradesh, is highly recommended.
Okay, it's highly recommended. The last one, maybe you can introduce yourself, Salima. Who are you in this network, in this yajna, in this journey, and who is Dr. Kumar Mahabir? What is your function, Salima?
So, Baba, how about we leave that until the end?
Okay,
And we just
thank you.
focus. Thank you.
So, thank you
But,
very much for this occasion, and I hope that we can learn more from our Girmitiyalogy ambassadors.
yes, today is
Thank you
about the
very much,
Girmitiyalogy
everyone. Thank you very much.
ambassadors.
One thing more, we are busy to organize a very important conference at Jawaharlal Nehru University. That will be September 10, 11, and 12. And Girmitiyalogy is the core subject.
Yes, it is.
Thank you. So, and I'm inviting you, if you want to prepare a paper and take part, please do that. It is our thing there. We have the
Good.
lead there.
So we
Thank
will
you.
be circulating the call for papers, so everyone will get an opportunity to submit a paper
Yeah.
and build from here, build from the foundation that Baba has started. So Baba, thank you very much.
I think.
On behalf of ICC, I want to say thank you. It is an extension of the work that we've been doing for the last, 5 years?
5.
Yeah. So it's an extension of that work because now the research that has been presented by over 1,000 speakers has a place and value as long as it can be used to advance Girmitiyalogy. That's the whole point of everything that we've been doing, I think. And it's very timely. It's necessary at this point in time. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want to move on to a very, very important speaker who has been with Baba from inception, and this is Akash Mishra of India. He's a PhD student at the University of Lucknow, researching Girmitiya laborers, their descendants, and their connections with their relatives in India. Akash is many different things. He wears many different hats in terms of Girmitiyalogy, one of which is that he's the coordinator of the Girmitiyalogy board. It's a pleasure to have you, Akash.
आकाश बोलो.
Thank you, ma'am.
Welcome.
And I would like to thank ICC board and team, Dr. Mahavir sir, Miss Shalima ma'am, and last but not the least, Baba. I would like to thank you so much for this opportunity. I'm always grateful to you. So, I'm told what to do here. So, I would like to tell about myself first. Like, I'm Akash Mishra and I'm from India, Lucknow University. I'm doing my research in the area of Girmitiya. I'm working on search for roots of Girmitiyas and their reconnections with India's relatives and why they want to be reconnected, what's the matter, what the plan. So these these are the things I am doing in my research. So here I got to do this job uh, through Baba, and as an ambassador, I would like to tell and I would like to plan about future scholars and students, like what am I going to do as an ambassador. So I would make sure to initiate connecting scholars, descendants via website girmitiyalogy.com. This is the most important point and step for the journey. So I would like I will indulge myself in spreading knowledge of Girmitiyalogy through social media, talks, events, and grassroots like expected states, districts, region, or community. Outreach to educate on Girmitiya histories, identities, and hybrid cultures. And secondly, I would try to contribute to digital archives like Glass and so far by collecting oral histories, genealogical data, and artifacts for global accessibility. And next point, I would like to tell about the role of an ambassador. Like for me, I would engage myself in organizing forums, conferences, and masterclasses or workshops to link Girmitiya descendants worldwide. And it is the need of the time to challenge Eurocentric narratives, time to push for policy attention on Girmitiya justice, and would make sure to highlight cultural resilience in post-colonial discourse. And last but not the least, eventually a great idea given by Baba to engage ourselves in Bollywood-influenced events and collaborations with institutions like University of Lucknow, BHU, JNU, etc. So these are these were the some points, and I would like to add some more points. Like we can organize annual celebrations like Durga Puja, Diwali, Girmitiya foundation festivals, etc., to promote intergenerational histories through cultural programs that will unite all the Girmitiya descendants and will tie them to Indian heritage. So I think these are the roles, these are the duties to be done according to me and by me. I'm supposed to do this, and I will do the best I can. And secondly, I would like to talk about the plan. which I and Baba have prepared together, the Encyclopedia of Girmitology. We are going to do or we are going to publish, we are going to prepare or write this book, and it would serve as a comprehensive reference compendium. It is a collection of stories and books synthesizing this field's foundational concepts, methodologies, and global case studies on Gamitia histories, hybrid identities, and archival legacies. So, Girmitiyalogy is the interdisciplinary study of global histories, cultures, and identities of Girmitia descendants, Indian indentured labor, and their progeny, coined and inaugurated in 2025 at University of Lucknow by Professor Dr. Sadhanand Harnandan Singh. This emerging field integrates archival recovery, oral histories, digital humanities, sociology, and anthropology to decolonize narratives of colonial displacement across Fiji, Mauritius, South Africa, Suriname, and beyond. It addresses gaps in mainstream scholarship by digitizing scattered archives, analyzing hybrid identities, and fostering ethical reconnection with ancestral roots. Also,
Dash, excuse
eventually,
me. Would you like to
yes,
share your
ma'am.
slides?
Yes, after this point, I would like to share my screen.
Okay, sure.
Yeah. So, Girmitiyalogy reframes Indo-Caribbean identity by distinguishing Girmitia descendants from voluntary Indian migrants, emphasizing their non-Indian nationalities like Trinidadian, Guyanese, and sub-juridical ties to India, thus resolving citizenship dilemmas between OCI, PIO status, and full host nation belonging. Through digital archives, genealogical mapping, and forums like these, restore dignity, fosters ancestral recollection without repatriation nostalgia, and promotes intercultural models like cuisine, festivals, and all. So this was the abstract of the book supposed to be published, the Encyclopedia of Girmitology. Now, I would like to share my screen for the PPT. Yes. So it
Why don't
is
you put it into slideshow?
Girmit. Yes, it is.
Great.
Girmitiyalogy quick scan framework and principal scope on core domains of the global operations 2026 to 29. Girmitiyalogy, its definition and aims. It studies of Girmitia histories and archives, and it integrates history, sociology, and genealogy. Genealogy means like bloodline, ancestry, origin of Girmitias and their descendants, whom for what they are searching and they want to be reconnected. Digital humanities, digital tools and history, uh, literature, culture. It is mixed with these things. And archival justice, correcting historical biasness, enabling accessibility for marginalized communities. Like we are talking about Gimitia. And about this, Baba has told already. That's itihas, history. Indeed, it was. Really, it was. It is. It combines fact, memory, ethics. The history, the itihas, it combines facts, memories, and ethics of Gimitia and what they have preserved there, and they carried the baggage from India when they were boarding from here for the ships. Human-centered historiography, the writing of history, especially based on critical examination of sources like principles, theory. The core problem why action is needed because ancestral records dispersed or lost. Many descendants are searching their ancestral records. They are lost. That is why they are unable to reconnect. They are unable to search their roots. So this is the main problem of descendants of Girmitiyas. That is why this action should be taken. And next, Eurocentric historical narratives dominate. We all know from the beginning that why it all has have happened. I mean, Girmitiyas, they were the normal persons in India, and they were taken away forcibly, and they were uh, they were Britishers. I mean, their history narratives they dominate. In today's scenario, they dominate. That is why things are critical. We are not able to do accordingly, and descendants lack genealogical access. They don't have their origin. They don't have their ancestry field or ancestry home. They can't search their roots. They can't reconnect. So they have because they lack genealogical access. They don't have an origin. So now here I would like to talk about the GOC board, like Girmitiyalogy Operation Council Board. It is prepared and inaugurated by Baba, and its vision. This is the vision of GOC board. Girmitiyalogy moves beyond archive exclusive and positivist interpretations that may reproduce colonial bias or structural silences. All activities aim to advance historical accuracy, social justice, genealogical restoration, and cultural self representation, enabling descendant communities to critically reassess inherited narratives and to redefine their histories and collective identities within their respective national context. So, I already told or discussed these points to provide a sound juridical and institutional basis for all worldwide Girmitology activities. The establishment of an international foundation is deemed to be necessary and appropriate. I discussed all the points collectively in my roles as an ambassador. So I'm revising these things as a pointers because I have prepared these to show all of you. The name and the vision of Girmitology is to become a globally recognized academic and ethical domain of study that restores historical justice to Girmitiya communities. It reconnects descendants with their genealogical and ancestral root, safeguards archives, memory, and cultural heritage, integrates scholarly rigor with lived community knowledge, contributes to sustainable intercultural understanding across nations with shared colonial histories. Guided by the Itihasa paradigm, Girmitiyology envisions a world in which the descendants of indentured laborers are no longer historically marginalized, but are recognized as active knowledge holders and co producers of history. History is therefore not treated merely as documentation of the past, but as a moral responsibility towards present and future generations. Now, it was the vision. Now, I would talk of mission of the board, GOC board. For the period 2026 to 29, Gerontology pursues the following mission. Ethical historiography. What is this? It will be used to develop research practices that integrate archival evidence with oral testimony, community memory, and ethical evaluation, ensuring that scholarship reflects both facts and human experience. And second one, decolonized archival reconstruction and redefinition of Girmitia. It will be changed after the redefinition and reconstruction. Bharatiya naturality based on the personal nationality. For example, Indo-Fijian or Suriname Hindustani nationality. To digitize, conserve, reinterpret, and contextualize colonial and post-colonial records through critical and decolonizing methodology, thereby correcting historical misinterpretation or misrepresentation and restoring epistemic balance. Genealogical restoration to facilitate transnational lineage reconstruction, enabling descendants of Girmitiyas to rediscover ancestral village, families, and migration routes through archival and digital tools. Community-centered knowledge production to recognize Girmitiya communities as partners and co-creators of knowledge rather than passive research subjects by embedding participatory methods in all research and educational activities. Next one, education and capacity building to develop accredited curricula, training programs, lectures, and digital platforms in collaboration with universities, archives, and civil society, ensuring inclusive and intercultural learning environments. These are the important things we have to pursue. We have to make it. Next one, international academic cooperation to strengthen institutional partnership with universities, heritage centers, museums, cultural organizations, and NGOs in India and in former indenture regions through formal frameworks and memoranda of understanding. Institutional integrity and governance to operate under transparent, independent, and ethically accountable structures supported by Girmitiyalogy Operations Council Board and the institution of Girmitiyalogy ambassadors, ensuring policy guidance, scholarly credibility, and international representation. Operational ethos. Girmitiyalogy formally recognizes the indentured labor system as a colonial structure of bound labor characterized by coercion, deception, dehumanization, violence, and racial inequality. It rejects interpretations that portray indenture as voluntary or benign migration. Collecting and digitizing Encyclopedia of Girmitiya literature. Thank you. So it was the PPT prepared by me and my companion. And now, how can it be used by me? Like I told that I'm working in this field and my PhD thesis that is being complete this month only. So I will use my all the credentials, all the learnings in this journey, in this board. So whatever I have learned in my PhD journey, I will be using all the credentials and all the outputs to make it possible. Thank you. I won't take long. Thank you so much, everyone.
Excellent, Akash. And thank you very much for
Thank
all
you.
the work that you do also in the background, which I noticed that you haven't really mentioned there, but fantastic. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
So can you take a few questions?
Sure.
Yeah? Okay, good. So I see Kumu Gupta has a hand up already. Kumu, go ahead, ask your question. But before you do so, I just want to invite any member of the audience. If you would like to ask a question, please go ahead. Raise your electronic hand, which you will find at the reactions button at the base of your Zoom screen. Go ahead, please, Kumu.
Yeah, so for example, the Indian heritage people who are in Trinidad, do they not call themselves Indian Trinidadians? Like, because in America, if we are from Indian heritage, then we say we are Indian Americans. So is that not already the the terminology. That was one question for Akash, and I had two questions for the previous speaker, which is what is Kalapani? And he mentioned something that information was blocked. This Girmitya knowledge information was blocked. So who blocked it?
Okay, first
Akash,
of
would you
all,
like to explain to her why Trinidadians refer to themselves as, or what Trinidadians refer to themselves as?
I think it's a very personal thing. It can be used like Indian Trinidadian. I explained it in the PPT and also in the abstract what I have told. So it can be told, it can be said like Indian Trinidadian. What's the problem? I don't see any problem. I don't see any problem.
So as one from Trinidad, we call ourselves Indians for short,
Yes,
and people call us Indians. But
yes.
if you want to redefine, then we say Indo-Trinidadian and so on. But
Indo-Trinidadian. Yes,
basically
yes.
Indian. Yeah.
Yes, yes. It is a genealogical term. So, and it is also personal thing. If you want to be recalled, if you want to be redefined, it is your choice. If you accept this, if you acknowledge that you are Indian, so it can be said. There is no problem.
But let me just add something to that. Kumu,
Yes.
in America, an Indian American is generally someone who may have been born in India and who has migrated to America and is there living as the first generation migrant. But for us who are fifth, sixth, seventh generation Indians from indentured Indian background, it's different, which is why we say Indo-Trinidadian, for example. In Suriname, it will be a little bit different. They say Hindustani, but Suriname is a very unique situation. When Dr. Sita comes on to speak, she will speak to what Guyanese speak to. So thank you very much for that question. Baba, there was a question from Kumu as well, which she'd like you to refer to,
You-
respond to, which had to do with the Kalapani.
Yes, one thing I want to tell, if you are calling yourself I am an Indian, you are not an Indian. That is one. The second one, the older races, Afro, etc., they will not accept you just like a citizens of Trinidad or Guyana or Suriname. I have told them you are a Surinamese, so you can claim your right. Nobody can tell you go back to your home, because what is my home? My home is here. That's why there are two things. There is a nationality, and the nationality is different. I am a Dutch Hindustani, Suriname Hindustani. Nationality is one, but the naturality is what you are really. And your naturality is Bharati, that is Indian. That are the two difference we have to make in this question of identity and hybrid identity.
Thank you, Baba. And let me just address the other question. As Dr. Pat stated in the chat, we refer to the Kalapani as the dark waters, the oceans that were crossed between India and all the countries to which the indentured immigrants went. That's the Kalapani, dark waters. Whether the
dark
water
waters.
was literally dark is not the question. It is to the immigrant what that water represented. A dark
Yes,
space. They did not know where they were going and they did not know where they would end up. They
yes,
could
it
not
has.
see where they were going.
Yes, it has a very negative connotation, you know. When one person was crossed the Kalapani, would not allowed to go back in their own ancestral village. Kalapani is a connotation, it is bad thing. And Kala, when they were in the boat in the shipping and they're looking far, and they saw only black, and no, but it was not blue, it was black. That's what they call me. This is Kalapani. And Kalapani means crossing problems to survive. Became ill in the boat, and when you died, they threw you away in the sea. And you are looking. Ladies were abused. You know, there were love stories too. But I can tell you, Kalapani has to write a book about Kalapani experience.
Yeah.
But the connotation is negative, but for me is not negative because Kalapani makes me powerful. I can, you know, challenge or not challenge, I can fight them because my parents, they have across the Kalapani, you know, and that's make me powerful.
Thank you very much, Baba. Chand, please go ahead with your question.
I'm just interested in knowing how Girmitiyalogy and Akash Mishra would be able to help if somebody from the diaspora wants to locate their villages, their ancestral villages. On the ground, like, and physically, if there's any organization there which he may be connected to or he may know of.
Akash, maybe you want to share about G-Glass?
Yeah, could you please come again?
Chand is asking whether or not you can assist in any way with persons who are interested in finding their ancestral village in India. How can you help someone who is, for example, living in the US but originally from Fiji to find their ancestral village?
Okay, in India. So first of all, I would like to trace their, I want their immigration pass. After that, I will search here in the in India. In India, what is the state? What is the district? What is the village? So this will be stepwise. And after that, I will search it on the land records. Like Baba always keep telling it that in Bihar, all the land records are in Kathi language.
Kaiti, yes.
So yes, so that language is not readable. It is not easy to read that. But in Uttar Pradesh, it is easy. Everything is written in Hindi or some readable language. So we are able to read that and we are able to seek all the ancestral village or ancestral district, state. So this is all the steps we follow. I think 2 or 3 people have sent their immigration passes to me, and I'm working on them. And 2 people, I'm about to seek their ancestry in Uttar Pradesh.
Okay,
I
very
have
good.
all the
Thank you.
Girmit passes and I have already visited my paternal grandfather's district in Gonda, but I could not locate his mahalla. And I would like to be there on the ground to go and see those villages after you're able to locate them. I've been able to locate them on the map.
Okay, no problem. We will help you out. Please
Thank
let
you.
me know about your immigration pass, and we will let you know about the ancestry. We will help you every way.
All right. Would you be able to share your email address so I can send those? Or I can
Sure,
send it via messenger on
I'll send my email in the chat
all right. Thank you so much,
right
sir.
now.
Very good. Thank
Thank you
you.
so much.
Mr. Dwaraka, go ahead with your question, please.
Yes, Sitaram, good evening. I'm sorry came in a little bit late. Just about, identity. My experience has been that the Indians, they seem to think that, and sometimes they don't see us as being bona fide Indians, as though we're less than. And I've seen that up in the islands as well. In Jamaica, for instance, the other people look at Indians as coolies. And I was seen as an Indian, and I couldn't understand why. You would tell a student, a colleague told me, "You are Indian, but I'm a coolie," So you have all of these distortions in terms of identity. But coming back to, I've been listening to the presentations so far, and I am one of those people who went through the whole process of finding my ancestors in Ramnagar, Allahabad, and so on. and going there and actually having to spend time, like Chan was saying, you're actually in the village, but who's your family here? How do you verify? So I have a lot of information I could share about that, how you go about doing it. But what I want to say to the group is all those people who are interested in finding their ancestors, we have lost a lot of time, a lot of information. We should not waste any time because, okay, like I am from a village, I'm 78, going 79. I could still remember the names of all the old people who came from India. When I'm not around, the younger generation will not know. And to find the immigration pass, you have to have this information. The name of the person, what boat they came on, what estate they went to. And some of those records are still there at the various estates and so on in Carney Limited. And we should make sure that we preserve them. Otherwise, in a few years, we will not be able, it will become more difficult, if not impossible. I just wanted to say that.
Yeah, may I say additive something? It is a very complicated thing, you know. Let us say this. There are two parts. It is a transnational migration study. Learns that there are two parts. That is, one part is the emigration, the process, all process leaving your homeland and transferred, go to the new land, and that means emigration. We have a lot of information. I think every colonized country has their own archival center. They have. But what they have noted there is not complete. So what we are looking now for, and that is we have now a good relation with the Calcutta port, and this lady is working with us together. What can we find in the archives of the Calcutta port, or from South India was Madras, etc., etc. But for example, Calcutta port. What do we have there? Well, the process started by recruiting from one village. And I can tell you one thing more. I am looking for my own Aja, Dada. And in his emigration pass is mentioned Chapra, district Saharan in Nevada. When I was once in Nevada, and you know, they are living there very separated. You have Thakur, Rajput, Nevada. You have Brahman, Nevada. You have other races, Nevada. You have Muslim, Nevada. All they're living, that is divided in one. And they told me, Bhai, which Nevada are you looking for? But there are only 12 Nevadas for Rajputs. Well, tell me, which Nevada I want to find? And the problem the omission has made by the recruiting and the selecting, but they had to mention the code, the zip number of the Nevada, at least. This is one problem. They did not do that. The other thing is, during the time, the locations has been moved, changed the name, changed the locations. Third thing is that the British, when the independence came, they have cancelled a lot of sub-depot information and head depot, that Calcutta. These archives is not to find. We don't know where it is. That is one of the priority to look. They are telling me, but it is not with evidence, that the British has taken a lot of information, archival, and they have destroyed that. They have destroyed that because we are going to look what were the problems. And they are something, sir, I can tell you, destroying archival of a people, of a group of people. It is United Nations calling this crime against humanity. So I'm telling you, there are mission impossible cases too, but there are simple ways. You can go to the archive center, because it's digital in Delhi or in Patna, etc. And you put your finger in the bottom, and maybe you can find. But that is for the Girmitiyas. No, never. The the situation. So we have to work on this thing, and we are going to claim the colonized nations and the Bharat country help us, because we cannot do nothing, because the information is not complete. Where are the right information? Because they went to the judge, to sign the degree. They were transported to the head depot. Their doctor was there to check, look the health situation. Every location has made in the immigration process that I'm telling about. The immigration, there's a lot of moments where archive has been registered. Where are these informations? That's what Girmitiyalogy wants to do, to find this out scientifically. And when we cannot find the information, then we are going to claim. Let us know, because we have right as descendants of Girmitiyas to find our ancestral village. And only 10% can find, other not. The problem is very big. Thank you.
Thank you very much for adding, Baba, which is, and everything that you've just outlined there is one of the reasons why we need to have a course or courses done to help people to find it, to bring out all the challenges and everything, so that we can go ahead and assist persons to find their places of origin, as Akash said. Akash, go ahead. You want to make a statement? Your hand is
Yes,
up.
thank you. Yes. I do agree with Baba. It is true whatever he has said. But I would like to add some more things. Like at the moment when you claim as a Girmitiya, when you claim for your ancestry, your village or something, or your reconnection, I have heard about this that some people are personally don't want to it claimed by you, because they are afraid that you will ask for their property
Yes,
and
land.
everything.
Yes,
This is the truth,
yes.
isn't it, Baba?
Yeah. True.
Yeah, it is true. I have heard it
Yes.
talking people. So this can be the real, I think, point or real reason. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Akash. Dr. Devanand Bhagwan, if you don't mind, I'd like to call our next speaker. Today is about introducing the ambassadors of Girmitiyalogy. And I would like you to please hold your question, hold your comment until our third speaker has done her presentation. So let me introduce you all to Dr. Sita Shah Roth. No introductions needed, really. She's so always on this platform. As we all know, she was born in Guyana. She is in Guyana at the moment, but sometimes she's also at her home in the US. She's a lecturer at the University of Guyana and an instructor in film production, research, and Indian folk theatre arts at the Guyana Institute of Creative Arts. And indeed, she is now an ambassador of Girmitiyalogy. Welcome, Dr. Sita.
Thank you. So, if I could join in the conversation that we just finished, or be put on hold, that point that Akash made about some of our ancestral relatives in India not wanting to acknowledge Girmitiyas, it's quite true in some cases. My mom she traced our maternal family and our paternal family, and she was welcomed. But then she traced the family of the ambassador at the time, the Guyana ambassador at the time. And when she went to the village, the first thing she was told is that we already use inheritance. There's no inheritance for him. We've already used inheritance. There's nothing for him. And so that is one part. The other part is that there are some Girmitiyas who have traced their families, but because of where they actually came from, they didn't want to acknowledge it because they were embarrassed. And these are persons within the political forum that we know about, and they trace their ancestors to very poor villages. And so they were so embarrassed, they don't mention it, and they claim that they never found. So I just wanted to make those 3 points. So let's come back now to me. As Shalima mentioned, I am an educator and a creative nonfiction instructor in scripting and multimedia productions. And this is in film, stage, radio, print, and whatever media the scriptwriter wants to pursue. I bring my passion for teaching and mentoring in education and communication studies to the Girmitiyalogy platform. But more importantly, my passion and preoccupation of integrating the content of Girmitiyalogy into lesson plans and multimedia productions such as short films, short stories, television, print, etc. What did I just do? So in my research and Indian folk theater arts classes, I ensure that there is appreciation, understanding, and respect for theater arts, folk theater arts, and major folklore of all that make up our Caribbean peoples. Unless we have respect and appreciation for each other's folk history and folklore as a Caribbean people, and in a diverse environment, then if we don't respect the other, then how do we expect to be respected? So one of the things that I teach my students and have them do is develop presentations that show across ethnicity, across cultures, how our Indo-Guyanese culture relates and compare, how they are similar, how they are different in any one particular culture. And if we come back again to a question that was asked earlier, how do we see ourselves? As Guyanese, we see ourselves, first of all, of course, as Guyanese. Second, as Indo-Guyanese. For the 100th anniversary of the arrival of East Indians, journalists referred to, and then we were still British Guyana, journalists referred to the Guyanese who had come from India, remember we were still not independent, as Indian Guyanese, Guyanese, just like African Guyanese, Chinese Guyanese. Today, I have done a survey of persons within 18 to 64 years old, and 95% of the Indo-Guyanese, the population was all Indo-Guyanese, which are identified by their names. And the 95% of them saw themselves, first of all, as Guyanese, and second, as Indo-Guyanese. So just to answer that question. And so in creating an appreciation for other cultures as well as our own, students become transmitters, messengers of the content as they too explore and create from research-based scenario. So everything that we do is based on research, whether we research through oral history, through interviews of older persons, whether we go to the archives and we see the records, whether we use the publications by different authors on the subject, it's all based on research. And these young people have a thirst for knowledge. They don't just become passive learners, but they are active creators of artistic projects that impact countless others across ethnicity, making the imagery, the concepts, the knowledge, and the application to meet hundreds more. So there's a multiplier effect. So when you teach, and this is, sorry, I bring my passion of teaching and creative arts expression, whether it be stage, film, radio, or television, to include and to teach Girmitiyalogy content as it's now as it's defined by Baba. And I have an example here. I have 3 examples actually. So I have adapted my screenplay, Skisna, into a stage play, which is an artistic work of creative nonfiction. It takes research, it takes an actual ship, the Wellesley, the persons who were recruited, where they were recruited from, their experiences, because there were a number of reasons why our ancestors departed their homeland, whether it be the village or from Calcutta port. Some left purposefully to search for work. There were some who were kidnapped in the early days. There were others who were told they'd be just crossing the water, not too far, to sift sugar. So for a number of reasons, there are a number of push factors, and then there were the pull factors. A number of persons who went to Mauritius, Fiji, Trinidad, Guyana, Suriname, to mention a few, had already completed 5 years, a 5-year contract, and they returned to India, collected family and friends, and returned for another 5-year contract. So I call that the pull factor. Their experiences in the country to which they went and had contracts, sifting sugar, well, planting cane and working on the plantations or the coffee plantations, their experiences were of such that they wanted another contract and they wanted their own families to benefit from whatever. And we have the records of families on the estates during the indentureship period who remitted monies to their families in India. There were not other instances where families, where the male of the family would have entered a contract and been on the estate, leaving their families in their hometown, in their home village, and acquired another family on the estates wherever they went. And so having 2 families, they opted to stay with the family on the estates. So there are instances of that. And we find that in some records, some writings, and also from oral histories. We still have some persons who are over 100 years old who remember what their parents and grandparents told them. There was a certain silence on their experiences in many cases, but those who shared and told the experience that was shared with them by their own parents or grandparents. In Guyana, most of the persons I've encountered are either 3rd generation or 4th generation, maybe 5th generation. And I myself am 3rd generation. And so back to my students. So they are creating miniature artifacts for the exhibition that we mounted in the foyer of the venue for the presentation. And the artifacts include dolls dressed in Indian traditional folkwear. The ship that brought the Girmitiyalogy portrayed as a miniature. Then there are miniatures of lodges or the range houses that the indentured service occupied on the plantations, many of which was the dwellings that were used by the slaves before them. But new lodges were also built on the plantations, especially for some plantations. There is also a full-length exhibition of the artifacts that we once took for granted. And today's generation have never actually seen or held. So we have someone whose name is Michael Kahn. He's a storyteller and he's a lecturer at the University of Ghana. He's also an artist, oral storyteller. He has the oral history of the Girmitiyas. And he has been collecting artifacts and creating a museum, a Girmitiya museum, of all the things that we once took for granted in our household, like household items, like items on an estate. And so he has this huge exhibition. He moves them as he goes. He had taken it to New York once, selected, of course, and he moves around Guyana as an educator within different villages across the country, telling stories and sharing his exhibition. And then I have the example 2, a lesson plan based on a curriculum item on the reasons the indentureship came into being may indicate, 1, the need on the estates, in the British colonies. The legislation had to be made, the recruitment methods, and as I said, the push factors and the pull factors. At one time, there were famines in India. Jobs were scarce. And in the beginning, when the hill coolies came down to Calcutta, looking for jobs, there was famine in their villages, and they were ripe for taking, so to speak. They were the first set who came, the Gladstone coolies, to Guyana, to British Guyana. Demerara, as it was referred to at that time. So there was the need, the legislation, the recruitment methods, the push and the pull factors. And this could be taught through giving the facts in every area. Now, students haven't been taught the basics of script writing for the different multimedia genres, radio, TV, film, print, stage, fairground kind of experiences, will be able to integrate their creativity around the facts to produce the foundation for different products, different quote-unquote Girmitiyalogy products. But first, you have to provide that foundation, that history, that the recruitment methods, legislation, the push and the pull factors, they have to fully understand, and they have to be made to feel it. They have to be made to feel the Kalapani experiences. In Guyana, we refer to it as black water, the black water experiences. And they have to be made to feel, to appreciate what their ancestors went through. They, as we like to say, the trials and tribulations, but really in tangible ways, so that they could actually see it's not just words. It's not just words, but it's actual feelings. So using the basics of the content, the curriculum content of the why, how, where, and when of the Indian internship system, students, and when I say students, I am talking about high school students, grade 12 and 13, well, 11, 12, 13, undergrad university, and master's students. I teach master's students. And to get them interested in the topic of indentureship takes a lot of work, because they're educators, they're communicators, they're integrated within a diverse society. And so to be able to get them to be involved in Girmitiya studies is a challenge. You end up getting, if you're not careful, you end up getting only the converted, those who already know, those who already have an appreciation, those who already create and through dance or whatever creative method they have, creative expression that they're for, or reading, just reading and writing. So we want to, in my perspective, I think that we want to just not get the converted, but you must have the converted. You must have those who already believe that it's a good subject area to get involved in. But then you also want those who have no knowledge, but they are ready to be taught. They are ready to learn. And so if we look at the traditions that most of them have grown up with knowing about is the Ram Leelas, the Taja Festival, or in Trinidad, the Hussein. They already know about, and the Puran Mal, which hardly anyone knows about, the Puran Mal. And yet students want to know more. They don't just want to know the Ram Leela. They have been to Ram Leelas. They've been part of the Ram Leela. So what I did is to show them how to take their experiences, their learning and everything, and create Ram Leela scripts in parts. So you have the abduction, so you take the entire Ram Leela story and you make it in parts so that it bites. So you have bites that could be presented in stage from different perspectives. And the commemoration, the Taja Festival, which is commemoration and not a celebration, is one of the things that they need to know about. How to make the Taja. Because if they have tangible ways of creating things, then they are more likely to remember the whole, so you give them the whole history behind it, the whys and the wheres and the hope and the wherefores, where it was, why it was stopped, and different reasons, and then who were part of it and who were part of the stopping of it and all of that. And then to actually have the hands-on experience of creating a Taja. That is one way I try to show them. And this, I think, could go beyond just my small set of students every semester, which is like between 15 to 25. So I wish that we could include more and hold them, because quite often they join the classes and then the demands of work and life cause them to miss classes and start again the next time round. And for the film, as Baba said, I could add my learning and experience and passion to the creation of Girmitiyalogy films. And this is a passion of mine. I'm currently on the stage play was written as a hybrid play. And so it will be made into a film. And I do teach film to students. And most of my students at the moment are Indo-Guyanese. They 75% of the film students are Indo-Guyanese, and 100% of the Indian folk theater arts are Indo-Guyanese. So, and these are students who would not usually sign on for these kinds of programs. They prefer to go and learn dance and then go and dance at a show or for a function. So they would do Bollywood dances, they may do classical dances, they may do in between. And but when it comes to formal classes, they hesitate. So we have to find ways of, first of all, getting the interest. And through productions that have already been done, that is one way, only one. That is one way of bringing the potential Girmitiyalogy students and eventually Girmitiyalogy artistic creators into the fold of Girmitiyalogy. This is my my concept, my idea, so that I could do what Baba thinks that I could do, and what Shalimar had in mind when she brought me on board. But there is one other thing I wanted to mention. I noticed a trend of diasporic curiosity within students. And as I said, this is between 15-year-olds to 40-year-olds, 45-year-olds. I don't have anybody over 45. I noticed there's a trend of curiosity within the diaspora, within the Indo-Guyanese Indian diaspora, however we put them, whichever box we slot them in. That curiosity goes beyond what they call as personal ancestral memory, what they recall as the memories of their grandparents and within their villages, within unlimited, be coastal, most are coastal villages. And what they recall as that is one thing. And what they see in Bollywood movies is another way they have learned about India, and what grandparents and great-grandparents have told them. So some of them say, well, okay, we already know all of that. So they want to know more, they're hungry. And the internet brings India closer to their world. And this closeness goes beyond the world their grand and great-grandparents had. It goes beyond their villages. It goes beyond Phagwa and Diwali and Ramleela and Tasa. It goes beyond that. And all the religious celebrations within the mandirs and the mosques. They are hungry for knowledge and for tangible experiences. And there is where the Girmitiyalogy studies come to play. As I said, they're hungry seemingly for folklore that says that their roots go beyond the religious, what is told in the mandir, beyond the known music, beyond fashion, beyond the Indian wear, beyond cuisine. Their roots go much, much deeper. Their roots go right back to India, and not just the village that their great-grandparents came from, but all of India. So they're hungry to know everything that they can know about India, not the modern, currently accepted version of India, but the folk lore of India, the classical and the folk. And this can be explained as a form of diasporic curiosity, where young Guyanese explore the wider Indian cultural traditions as part of reconstructing a meaningful sense of identity within their sphere of interest, within their sphere of control. In this case, in my field, in the theater arts expressions. And I have another example to share. A work of they all had presentations. I've just selected a part of one presentation. That hunger for more. I taught puppetry, and I showed them the puppetry from around the world, China, Europe, and different parts of India. And they choose to make the Kathputli doll, the puppets, the Kathputli doll making. Using the internet, using the lecture and the internet to actually create their pieces. This was an exercise for grading. And finally, through music, marrying music with our traditions, with our religious and national traditions, because Pagua has become a national tradition. It's a national holiday in Guyana, and it's shared by all. So first of all, there's a religious aspect, and all the mandares go through all the different cycle of Pagua, the chautal, the burning of holka, first of all, the planting of the planting of the castor oil tree, the burning of holika, the whole thing right from the beginning to the end. It's followed by in the mandares, and that of course is for the Hindus, the devoted Hindus. But throughout Guyana, you have the plain of Pagua, and it starts from the last day of school because it's a national holiday. The last day of school. As a child, we played Pagua in school. We play Pagua, the half day is given to playing Pagua. It doesn't matter which school you're in, whether it's a Christian school, a Hindu school, or a Muslim school, or just a public school. Pagua was played in school, and it's still being done. Today, they don't just play with the powder, but they also make rangolis, and they have rangoli competitions. And then you have the chautal competitions, but that is Mandare again. But this is non-Hindus celebrating Pagua in their own way on the last day of school. Some schools, and these are the Hindu schools, have the story of Pagua, the Prahalad story. And so you could go to a school, and the public is also in some cases invited, and it is performed by the children. So the teacher would teach the stories, but every school in Guyana, the part of the curriculum is to teach the origins of Pagua and the story of Pagua. And they take it as a pride. And on that day, the last day before school closes for Pagua, children wear what we call culture wear. So you would have the Indians would wear, the Indo-Guyanese would wear their Indo-Guyanese outfits. The Afro-Guyanese would wear Afro-Guyanese outfits. These are the little children from kindergarten right through to grade 12, 13. And at workplaces, the staff would wear, of course, the ethnic clothes. When you go to the staff of most public agencies and ministries, they all seem to wear Indian outfits regardless. They don't go into the Chinese and the Afro. Whether you're a Chinese or an Afro, they wear Indian outfits. And most often the shalwar and pajama, some wear saris. And so for Pagua, and then come Pagua Day, you have the playing with powder, playing with water, dirty water from the trenches, and throwing water in cars and all that. So you have that. But then you also have the sane one. You have big trucks going down the streets in the city, in the villages, and they're singing chautal with all the musical instruments and everything. Also, they're throwing water on people on the road. So they are uncolored. It started with white powder. When I was a child, we only had white powder, but now it's colored powder. And of course, we always had a beer, which is the colored water. And but today you have all kinds of colors, and you have the pichkari. We use water
Some
guns.
questions now.
I'm starting to play the you want a question before I play the video?
Actually,
Yes.
Sita, let's hold on the video, please, because I think you gave an excellent description of what is to come. And we do have our next ambassador
No
to
problem.
speak. But we have some
Sorry.
questions.
Okay.
Yes, I wanted to mention that Girmitiyalogy ambassadors are not located to one or two countries, but globally. And they have in their portfolio, they have their own tasks to do, as Akash has mentioned. and that we have to make the who are going to do what. And in our quick scan, I have mentioned some subjects, and I think we have to share this to the Girmitiyalogy ambassadors to do this not only for one country, but globally for now. Later, when we have more power, then we can say, okay, one country, one Girmitiyalogy ambassador. That's one. And one thing what we are missing is mention not only the Hindus, because Girmitiyas were Hindus and Muslims. And every time when we are mentioning Pagwa, Holi Pagwa, Diwali, we can mention also the, the Ramadan, the festivals of the Muslims. That's why our Girmitiyologists are focused on not on religious group, but all the Girmitiyas. Even you are Christian, what do you have to face? What are your challenges? And that's why we have a WhatsApp group for the Girmitiyalogy, and once we have the meeting, that is for the starting, it is very fine that you can learn who are the persons. As you know, and if I have listened to Sita, she is very well good for the curricula. Developing the curricula, that is one of our core tasks. The second one is the art and the culture. So we are going to cluster for the Girmitiyalogy ambassador who is going to do what for the coming 2 years. That I want to explain, and I'm very happy that Sita has told us what is her orientation.
Yes.
And she is very, very an expert person.
So let's hold that. Let's hold that for the next board meeting, please.
Yes, that's why not to
Yes,
mention.
we'll hold that for the next board meeting, which will be at the end of February. And we'll work those out. At this point in time, I want to say thank you very much. And I think it is quite evident why Sita was the most suitable person to be an ambassador for Girmitiyalogy. She's been doing this in practice for many, many years. So it's a natural progression, I think. And now I want to call on Vikash Sitaram. Vikash, I'm very happy to see your hand up because I think you can bring a lot to the table in go ahead, explain what you do and how you would like to play a role in Girmitiyalogy.
Hi, thank you very much. So my name is Vikash Sitaram. I'm from Durban, South Africa. So I was very interested in Dr. Sita Rawat's very detailed explanation of how she interacts with the youth, with the young people. And so I am involved in media training. We have a small film school, and we do media production as well. We've just released a full-length feature film, which will soon be probably on one of the major streaming platforms. It's called Greytown Girl. It was for a South African movie. It was a fairly high-budget movie, and it was very well reviewed. A lot of people say it was the best South African Indian film of all time made so far until now. Of course, it's not for me to say that. However, what I found interesting about Dr. Rawat's what she was saying is that we have similar issues with our young people here in South Africa. They do want to know more about where they come from. There is a bit of a gap, but I have noticed there is a slight difference between those of us who are over 40 and 50 and those who are in their 30s and so on. And that difference is that those of us who are over 50 we were born as victims of colonialism. And later in South Africa, we were also victims of apartheid, which we managed to overcome. Hence, a lot of the older people, we do have memories and how can I say, trauma associated with colonialism, apartheid, and so on. But the younger people are looking more in, want to look at more a positive light. They don't want to be seen as victims anymore. This is the TikTok generation. Everybody's trying to be positive. So bearing that in mind, that is why I have created, I'm creating and building a documentary series, which we call the Girmitiyalogy Kingdoms. And for the series, I have an Emmy Award-winning director. His name is Rihad Desai. He's from Cape Town. So we're still at the early stages, and so that's why I was so glad to see Dr. Rawat as well is involved in film production. I hope we can chat later and maybe email and share notes on this documentary series that I'm intending doing. So one of the things that we want that I have noticed about the young people is that we need to create a positive view of who we are. So they do not want to be seen as victims of colonialism. No, they want to be seen as victors of colonialism. We defeated colonialism. And even me myself, I don't want to be seen as a victim either, or a victim of apartheid either. We fought, we lost our lives, we defeated apartheid. We are winners, we are not victims. And that is my view on how we should, going forward, portray ourselves. Without lying, there's no lies. We can acknowledge who we are, where we came from. Yes, we did have struggles, but ultimately we are winners. We overcame, and in fact, our civilization as a whole is on the brink of becoming once again the Vishwa Guru of the world. And so we need to tap into that winning, the winner's mentality, the victor's mentality, which people like Prime Minister Modi are fully embracing. So I'm very glad to meet Dr. Roth, and hopefully I'll get to collaborate with many of you here in this group as well. Yeah, I don't want to take up too much of your time, and please feel free to WhatsApp me, Gmail me anytime. I'm looking forward to meeting many of you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Vikash. And we will definitely be making contact with you. I know that you've been waiting patiently for us to share that film, but more importantly, I think you have a role to play in Girmitiyalogy with that filmmaking background and media training. So we will definitely be connecting you. Thank you very much for sharing. I want to bring on Dr. Arnold Thomas now from St. Vincent. Dr. Arnold Thomas, please unmute your mic. Can you unmute your mic, please?
Yeah, I have now given him permission.
Dr. Thomas?
Oh, sorry.
It's muted again.
Unmute, sorry. Yes, you are there now. You can put on your camera.
Dr. Arnold Thomas?
Yep. Can you hear me?
Yes, we're hearing you now.
Where's the camera? I'm trying to find my camera.
It's at the bottom left. Video.
Next to the audio.
Bottom corner.
Okay, but you can go ahead and start your contribution.
Okay, let me just begin by saying that this has been an excellent program, and it has brought together all that the Indo-Caribbean Cultural Center has been doing over the years. So it's great to see all these intellectuals getting here. I'd like to commend all the speakers. They have been so brilliant. And this is the sort of thing, you know, those of us who are descendants of indentured servants are very proud to see. So put it all together now. I'm going to be very brief. I don't want to take up much time. I would like to, I said I commend all the speakers for the brilliant presentations, highly intellectual, and putting together what we should be doing. What I'd like to propose is a publication of all of these presentations, either by the Indo-Caribbean Cultural Center or by some other organization, and put together something that can be used by students at all levels to study and promote Girmitiyalogy, right? And this is something I would like to see. I would be the first to purchase 1 or 2 books if it's all done off, if all 3 speakers get together and put together that workbook. Incidentally, I have been involved also with the National Archives in preserving the Indian register, the Register of Indians over here. And also, we have been working closely with the Indian High Commission that's based in Suriname to promote a lot of things Indian. But let me just mention something here. Unlike Trinidad and Guyana and Suriname, where there is a very strong tradition of Indianness, we in St. Vincent have lost a lot of it, thanks to the proselytizing of the Christian churches. So very often, when we try to bring back anything that talks about India, whether it's Indian culture and so on, a lot of people, especially I'm not going to mention the religion, come up and say, no, Hinduism is ideology, and they don't want to get back to that. But if those 3 authors were to come back and publish what they've been saying, you can use that and say, yep, this is where we came from, this is who we are, and this is where we want to go. And we must never, ever forget who we are and where we are and where we want to go. Thank you very much.
Arnold, before you go, the whole point of introducing the Girmitiyalogy ambassadors is so that we can put out there into our community the fact that there is going to be an academic discipline which speaks to our ancestors, their experiences, and our experiences.
Right.
Given your background, how would you like to play a role?
Well, incidentally, I am now involved in a team of historians writing, I'm not going to say rewriting, but writing the real history of St. Vincent. And my particular focus will be on indentureship. So I'm right there with you guys. I'm going to be talking about indentureship, and we're looking at indentureship from all different perspectives, from the perspectives of the estate owners, the people in India, the people who came here as indentured servants, and what they actually did on the plantations. So I'm going to be working on all of that in my contribution to our history of St. Vincent. I hope I answered your question, Salima.
So I was hoping that we can get, I know for a fact that we can get access to resources from you, but I'm also hoping that you would consider creating a course or 2 to be taught.
Definitely, because one of the things we are pushing, we mean in that team of historians, is that we are producing 2 volumes of the history of St. Vincent, and 1 volume is for ordinary people, ordinary readers, and the other is for those who are involved in learning at even up to the tertiary level. So I'm going to make sure that my contribution will project or will present what we need to know about indentured servants, indentured people, Girmitiyalogy, and all of that. So I'll be there. I'll be doing it.
Excellent. Thank you so much. So we will be in touch.
Okay, thanks a lot.
Wonderful. So ladies and gentlemen, at this point in time, Dr. Devanand Bhagwan, I am not ignoring you. I still see your hand up, but I want you to please hold until our next speaker, because we are already approaching time to close. And so I want to announce to everyone that we will be going over our time today. We have our next ambassador to speak, and this is Dr. Seshni Mudlia Rensburg, who is originally from South Africa, now living in England. She combines her medical expertise with ancestral healing and storytelling, sharing Girmitiyar stories rooted in the legacy of South Africa's indentured ancestors. Dr. Seshni, go ahead, please.
We're not hearing her.
I'm not hearing you, Seshni. Can you try one more time?
Still not hearing you.
Still not
No.
hearing, but her mic seems to be unmuted.
Yeah. And we tested her before we started recording. Don't know what's happening.
Can you put her on, can you change to speaker mode?
Yeah, that will make a difference.
I just want to be able to properly see. Dr. Seshni?
I think she's hearing us, but we can't hear her.
Uh-huh.
You don't hear me?
Yes, we're hearing you now.
Now, yeah.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
We heard her for a second. She's gone again.
Yeah, she's gone again.
Okay, while we try to straighten this
Maybe
out,
she can log in out and
Dr.
log in back in.
Seshni, sorry, Navin.
Maybe she can try to log in out and log in back in.
Yes.
So Seshni, do that. Log off and log in again.
Yeah, I'll do that now.
Oh,
we're
but we
hearing
can
you
hear you
now.
now.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
You were hearing
Yes,
you
now.
Yes,
Now.
I was trying to log on another device because I think there is something wrong with my phone. But thank you so much, everyone, for your patience. And good evening, namaste, namaskar, vanakkam, kemcho to everyone here. Thank you, Shaniva, and thank you, everyone who's listening. I'm really privileged and humbled to be here.
But we're not hearing you to the best, eh? We're not hearing you to the best.
Okay, I'll try and join on the other device. Maybe is that better?
Okay,
Yeah.
sure.
If you maybe take questions, then I'll just join on the other device at the same time.
Go ahead.
Okay. She said take a question by time from Bhagwan, probably.
Yeah.
Okay, Devanand Bhagwan. Dr. Bhagwan, go ahead, please.
Yeah, hi. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Yes.
we're hearing you.
Okay, I just want to say that I appreciate so much this conference talking about Indianness, relating to descendants of Indian indentured servants. However, I want to strongly disagree with those who say that the word to describe these people, my people, me, as a Girmitya. I'm just going to be very, very short here for the sake of time. Yeah, this word Girmitya relates only to the people of Fiji. I've spoken with academics, with people who are in this area, the activists, and not only in Fiji, but other places as well, and feel very strongly that this is not the best word to describe descendants of Indian indentured servants.
Okay,
I
Dr.
think there are
Bhagwan,
other.
thank you very much. Thank you
Thank you.
very much.
Thank you.
Today's program is not about the indentures, but I'm going to, it's not about calling or giving a name to the children of the indentures. It's about informing you all, participants, informing everyone, bringing into the academic discourse, the fact that there is indeed an academic discipline to come on stream which recognizes indentured immigrants. And I just want to ask Baba to please say something about why you chose the term Girmitiyalogy.
Yeah, it is very simple. That is to identify the global Girmitias and their descendants as one identification. I want to call myself Kantraki. In Suriname, we are not calling Girmitia, we are calling ourselves Kantraki, but we have tried on July 5 of 2025, you was there in the hybrid, and we have making a definition. How are we? We are not diaspora, we are a kind of diaspora, but we are different from the Indian diaspora. So how for the science is it necessary to know about who we are talking about? And the Girmitias is well known globally. And if someone wants to call himself Kantraki in their own country of Indo-Caribbean of some, is their choice. But for the science, we have chosen one paradigm, and that is Girmitiyalogy, referring to the indentured laborers and their descendants, calling them global Girmitiya community.
And the word Girmit refers to the actual contract. There are many indentured immigrants from various countries, from various ethnicities. But the word Girmit is the only one, I think, that really identifies the Indian indenture from the others. So it distinguishes that particular group. And so I think it is quite appropriate. It does not matter if Fiji or Suriname is where the word was used, I think. Dr. Seshni, are you ready?
Yes, I am. Hello.
Okay, go ahead, please.
Is that better? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you for your patience. Thank you, Shalima. And Vanakkam, Namaste, Namaskar, Kemcho. Thank you to everyone that's listening to this live on YouTube and on the replay. I'm very privileged and grateful to be here tonight and to be able to share my journey and more about being an ambassador with the Girmitiyalogy organization. If you are able to slide on.
Internet problem.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you, Navin. So, as you've heard from the other speakers, from Prof, from Akash, from Dr. Sita, and now you'll hear from me, it's a hard act to follow because I'm following on from people that are so experienced in this field. So I'm Dr. Seshni Mudlia Rensburg. As Shalima said, I'm from South Africa originally, but I'm living in the UK. And first and foremost, I do want to start by saying a really gratitude for being able to be an ambassador and being able to be here. I didn't realize how emotional I would have been, but I am quite emotional because this is something that's quite important. And for people that haven't realized how important our Girmitiyalogy is, and talking about our ancestors and honoring them. Today's talk and everything that's being done in this faculty highlights how important it is. And I'll start off with a quote that it took untold generations to get you where you are. So we should show gratitude. A little bit of gratitude might be in order, and that's by Jordan Peterson. So I want to thank the ICC, to Dr. Kumar, Shalima, and everyone at ICC. That's here, Navin and Daryl and Ashley. for allowing me to be here today, and also to Prof. Prof, if I had to dedicate this whole talk to you, it would be to you, and it's Prof. Shadanan Singh. And just to say thank you so much, Prof. Meeting you and through this platform has been extremely, extremely rewarding for me. And I will not be here today had it not been for the ICC and for you. So I really want to thank you, and I want to send a lot of blessings to you for driving this force of Girmitiyalogy, because it is something that's so important, and you've been someone who has been the driving force. And I think we all at the Bharat Girmitiyalogy group will agree. And I'm forever indebted to you, Prof, for everything that you do. I would like to thank all the organizers and participants, and also congratulations to all the ambassadors, Dr. Sita, Prof. Chuni, who could not be here today, and I'm sure if you had listened to him, it would have been amazing, and also Akash, and also congratulations to Dr. Shalima, Dr. Mahabir, Prof. Onkar for their appointments at Girmitiyalogy. And yes, I really would like to thank my ancestors. Next slide, please. As I said, I was quite emotional realizing that I've been chosen as an ambassador, and not because of having any ego or anything, but just realizing how important and how far I've come in this journey with everyone that's supporting me on this journey. And if you look on the slide, there's some photos of my ancestors, and I really want to thank each and every one of them, and the 100 others and thousands others that have come before them, because I would not be here, and none of us would be here had it not been for our ancestors. And this is what Girmitiyalogy is all about. It's about honoring our ancestors, remembering them, and educating them, educating everyone about them. And this picture that you see here, I had seen an Oprah show, and Oprah has a picture of the highest bidder, To the Highest Bidder by Henry Roseland, and that's in her entrance of her home, in one of the hallways. And she says whenever she walks past that, she is reminded of how far she has come in her journey to be where she is. And when I heard that, this is what inspired me to do this for my journey, because when I see these photos, I'm reminded how far I have come, and why I am here is because of my ancestors. So my background is as a medical researcher, and a doctor and researcher in Girmitiyalogy. And I am a descendant of, proud descendant for generation of South African indentured Indians. And yes, because of my medical background, my mental health background of training in psychiatry, being in the medical field, and also interested in media and playing a role in that on radio regularly, I have an interest in ancestral healing and storytelling. Before I continue with my slides, Prof made two important points. He said the one was that the ambassadors and this whole Girmitiyalogy is about representation for all different countries. And I have the advantage of being someone from South Africa, someone who's living in the UK, and also someone who has connections with all the other Girmitayers and indentured descendants globally. So that is a value that I bring as a ambassador. And also, Prof mentioned that we each should have our topic about what we are going to bring forward. And as an ambassador, and on the appointment day on the 31st of January, where we all met with Prof. Shadanan and others are here with Dr. Shalima, and with Dr. Kumar and Akash and Sita. It was really, and Vidya as well, and few others. We were all present to acknowledge and accept that role as an ambassador. And my role moving forward is many, many different aspects of it. And one is looking at, as Prof has asked me, to look at healthcare and education. And I'll talk more about that in a minute. But just moving forward on from indentured laborers, Dr. Thomas spoke about the plantations. And yes, South Africa, the indentured laborers, as everyone know, they went to South Africa in 1860. And that was on the SS Truro on the 16th of November, is which when we celebrate and honor these ancestors in South Africa. And they went as sugarcane plant laborers, as all our indentured went to different parts of the world, Mauritius, Suriname, Guyana, Trinidad, Fiji, and all the other places. And they worked in really difficult situations. They were displaced and there was cultural disruption. So next slide, please. So as I move forward to honor the ancestors, I just want to say, so these photos, as you see, are representation of my journey in Girmitiyalogy, of the different aspects that I've been involved in. And one of them is poetry. So sharing my Girmitiya history in the form of a poem. And I really want to quickly run through this poem because it means so much to me, because I'm representation of the South African Girmitiyas, as you've heard from people from India, from Guyana, from Fiji, from Suriname. So from South Africa, this is for you and all those from South Africa, Vic and others, Kumu. So my poem is titled 152184 Girmitiyas. In honor of the Indian indentured souls of South Africa, I long to honor you, each soul who journeyed, not knowing the road ahead, but stepping forward, but with courage, with hope, and silent prayers. You boarded the SS Truro first on that solemn day, 16 November 1860. The wind carrying whispers of ancestors, the ocean's opening gates of fate. From then until 1911, ship by ship, name by name, 152, 184 hearts across the waters. You came not in chains, but not quite free, bound by contracts, unwritten pains, endless days beneath the sun. Yet still you brought with you culture, love, traditions, curry. You planted seeds of resilience, of rhythm, of language, of prayer. To South Africa, you gave vibrance in the corner shop, the bustling market, the doctor's hands, the lawyer's voice, the teacher's chalk, the radio's echo. Thank you for making that journey, for building what we now call home. Our lives are better because you endured. We acknowledge the pain, we honor your strength, we celebrate your legacy. And as your descendants, we say clearly now, it ends, we are free. And as Prime Minister Modi echoed, let us preserve our heritage. Your stories are being heard and told worldwide. Let us awaken your voices. Thank you. So my journey, just very quickly before I move on to my role, is I was fortunate to trace my ancestors. I know a lot of people today mentioned wanting to trace their ancestors, Chand Gupta and others. So I was fortunate to be able to, with the help of people in South Africa and India, I was able to trace my ancestors. And this is the picture. My journey started, I would say, when I was 7 or 8 years old, interested in my family history. And that's why I'm very grateful to Prof and everyone else who have acknowledged my role, because I do have a passion for this and I'm willing to continue to honor this role as an ambassador. The picture that you see is a picture of myself and my twin sister, Sanusha. We went into 2022 after lockdown to take my mom's ashes to India. And that for me is significant as a Girmitiya ambassador because it was a full circle moment. I didn't realize it then, but I realize it now. And that's probably my mom was guiding me and the ancestors all were guiding me, because we ended up, her wish was, my mom died tragically, but she wanted her ashes to be taken back to South Africa, to India, to the Ganges. And that's what we did. And it was very significant. So if I could inspire others as an ambassador to find out and trace a history, that is one of the roles that I'm willing to fulfill. because it is important. The other photos is of my role in the ICC and presenting on 3 occasions on the indentured and also the apartheid. As you heard from Vic, we had colonization, but we also had the apartheid that affected us as indentured Indian descendants, and which our ancestors endured. And you can see the SS Pongola and a picture of my great-grand. So my role is also of writing a book on my great-grandmother, a memoir that I've completed. And it's something which it has been well received by people globally, not just South Africa. And it's really important that through this book, I want to encourage others to share the stories, the 150 to 184 ancestors of South Africa, the Girmitiyalogy, and others globally. Share their stories in whatever form that you can. And I've shared poems on my great-grand and ancestors on various platforms, on presentations, on this platform, radio, and in different magazines and papers, the Metro Udame. And the other photo, as you can see, that was really a very, for people that are wanting to trace their ancestors, this is one of the whys for me, is this moment. 23rd of November 2024, I was able to go to the ancestral home in Gujarat. So I managed to go to Tamil Nadu, where my origins come from, and also to Gujarat, where my great-grandmother married into her second marriage. First was Tamil, and then second was Gujarat. I was able to go to the Sunandada, the ancestral home, and the prayer place in Gujarat. So that was very significant. Next slide, please. Yeah. So I've spoken about my experience. So it's all about writing poetry, memoirs, attending conferences, which I'll talk about more, and also participating in presentations, radio and media, and traveling. And yes, one of the main things is to inspire others, because our ancestors, their voices need to be heard. And through the Girmitiyalogy and Prof's vision, we are able to achieve that. The Pat that is present, Pat Poonen, is someone who has also been quite influential. And she's based in up north in the UK, and I met her through this platform. And Pat is someone who has links with Trinidad, and we had a Northumbria conference which I was invited for, and I must say Pat's achievements and preserving history and her Girmitiyalogy story is also very remarkable and significant. And I would like to really just mention my thanks and gratitude to her and inspiration that she is, not only for me, for others who I think a lot of others know her, and Shamsuddin from Trinidad. And then, yes, we did have a Prof. Onkar and Prof. Singh. We had a Lucknow conference last year, which was also very, very inspiring and very amazing to be part of. There was also a Varanasi, a conference as well, which was very inspiring, with contributions from Prof. Sham and also Prof. Bridge Maharaj from Natal and other people from South Africa, which I found very, very inspiring. Next slide, please. So moving forward, in terms of my role as ambassador, I've already touched on a few of these. I've accepted this on the 31st of January. It was a wonderful celebration, and I'm grateful to all that organized it. And it's all, you've heard about ancestral memory from Dr. Sita. You've heard about from Vic. Vic was talking about us being winners and not looking at ourselves as victims. So that is why my work and my role is also very important. It's about changing the narrative from a negative, yes, acknowledging that our ancestors went through these difficulties, but also changing this narrative into a more positive way. And I'll explain more. So that's through ancestral trauma, looking at that, ancestral healing, storytelling, research, and contributing in other platforms and celebrations with different religions. As Prof said, we need to emphasize not just Hindu celebrations, but Christianity and Muslim celebrations and any other celebrations that are being honored in memory of our ancestors. I was fortunate, and I'm sure we can agree, being in South Africa, growing up in South Africa, we have the advantage of, because of apartheid, actually, in a way, we were, in a way, as much as it was a very negative situation, the positive out of it was that all those that were part of the apartheid, we had strong bonds. So whilst I schooled, we always celebrated Eid Mubarak. We had friends that were Muslim, Christians, Tamils, Hindus, different Gujarats, different. And so we had a very, very rich Rainbow Nation, Ubuntu upbringing, if people can relate to that. So Ubuntu is I am because you are. So we grew up in that spirit, and I think that's something which is another advantage I have as a ambassador, to bring that collective contribution and acknowledgement of different races, different religions, without any discrimination. So yes, and the curriculum, as Prof said, and Shalima's mentioned about the curriculum and developing more in wellness, in psychology, in healthcare and education, and inspiring others. Next slide, please. So yes, the role of ambassadors, as you've heard from Akash, Dr. Sita, and Prof, is about preserving our history and memory, and about educating communities and youth. And Vic has already said that, Vic Sitaram has already said that the young generation, they are willing to hear about this, and the TikTok generation, but it's changing the narrative from more negative to more positive, where they can actually honor their ancestors and be proud, as like we are in Girmitiyalogy institution, like Prof is, who's steering us all in this direction, and like Narendra Modi is, who is asking us to, or he started this on the 9th of January 2025, where Narendra Modi has asked for our stories to be heard, our ancestors' stories. So this is very important. It's about my role of building global networks, of connecting with Girmitiyas, descendants globally, about being an advocate for recognition and healing, and the curriculum. Next slide, please. So the ambassadors are guardians of memory and transformation, and I don't take this role lightly. And I'm really privileged, and I'm really grateful for Prof and everyone on the board of the Girmitiyalogy and the website. Please do have a look at the girmitiyalogy.com website, where you can find out more about the curriculum and how you can get involved. Because each of us, whether you're an ambassador or not, we all have a role to play in this. And we don't need titles to know how important our ancestors and where we come from is so important. You always hear that we need to remember our roots. We need to remember where we come from. And, in times in life, things happen in life. And then we really, sometimes it's a reality check. You need to remember where you've come from, who are the people that actually put you where you are, and why you are actually breathing, living, and enjoying this life. It's because of all the sacrifices our ancestors have made. And Girmitiyalogy is exactly that. It's so much more than just history, identity. You've heard about identity earlier. Someone did mention identity, about healing and future making. And the ambassadors, myself, Akash, Dr. Sita, and Prof. Chuni, we are all part of this together with everyone. Next slide. So as I've mentioned, my interests are on recording family stories, and I wrote the memoir on Anubhavartha Mudli, and it was well received. It's still well received, and I still receive messages about it. And the next is to move on to my father's family, and I want to encourage others to do this. As you've heard, Narendra Modi has mentioned it on the 9th of January. He mentioned it again in Mauritius in March, and he's been continuously, if anyone gets a chance, do listen to his speech. Prof. Singh reminds me a lot of Narendra Modi when he speaks about the Girmitiyalogy. Prof, I hope you don't mind me saying that. But, you have that, you basically driving the force. Narendra Modi is a prime minister, so he's got so many things, but this is your expertise and this is your vision. And myself, together with all the ambassadors and everyone that's here, Shalima, Pat, and Dr. Kumar, and everyone else that has spoken today, we're all willing to work on this vision with you. So the interest is about recording family histories. As you heard the poem, as you've seen documentaries, and you heard about new documentaries that others are involved, like Vikash, about the Greytown girl, and the Bengal tiger, Shamim's story that is her late husband's story that has come out. There's so many different documentaries being made, and not only in the form of books, in media, books, articles. I want to inspire others that they need to record this. And Akash did mention about storytelling and oral stories and documenting oral stories. So this is where my interest and my role is one of the main interests, and sharing it in different media. So I do write regularly for an Indian newspaper based in Andhra Pradesh, and through Renukuntla Murali, I'm very grateful that I'm able to continue to document and on platforms like the ICC and Girmitiyalogy and all the other conferences that occurs globally regarding Girmitiyalogy. So it's about supporting the Girmitiyalogy research, and engaging youths and scholars and becoming ambassadors of memory and healing. Next slide, please. So the aims as ambassadors, as I said, I combine medical expertise with ancestral healing and storytelling to honor and preserve the legacy of South Africa's indentured ancestors, but not just South Africa, it's global. Because my heritage is from India, from Gujarat, from Tamil Nadu, proudly, and wherever else the ancestors originated, which I can trace. So my work will include, next slide, please. And thank you, Navin, ancestral trauma. So you heard about Vic really raised an important point, and I'm glad other people have also seen this, that as indentured laborers and descendants of indentured and colonization, and being part of apartheid, there's a lot of ancestral trauma, because our ancestors, going not just to South Africa, to all the other countries, suffered and endured, and there's a lot of trauma, and that is ancestral memory, as you've heard from Sita as well. And this trauma passes through generation, whether we want to acknowledge it or not. It's in our DNA. It's somewhere very deeply. This memory is there, and what we need to do, and my role would be, is to encourage people to change that narrative and to work through the trauma. That you need to realize, as I ended my poem, is we are free. Our ancestors are free. They need to realize that they are free by us letting people hear about their voices through Girmitiyalogy network and everything else that we do. We are letting them free, letting their stories be heard, and we're allowing them to move on, and for us to move on into a more positive. And whatever they went through, we can acknowledge it, but we need not to let that trauma continue. And by honoring it, acknowledging it, and giving it a label that, it is, we honor you, we know you went through difficulties, but yes, there is light at the end of the tunnel, and look how far we've all come, and we are here because of you. So all this ancestral trauma does impact on identity, health, well-being. And to date, a lot of people, even some of you listening now, will know that you've gone through cycles of ancestral trauma. There's repetition, whether it's karma, whether it's ancestral trauma, or cycles of repetition. We all go through it. But the more and more we can change this narrative, the better not only our future is, but we change the narrative for our ancestors. So these stories help us to understand the inherited pain. And that is why PM Modi has recognized this and is driving the force and asking us. He did that on Harvasi Bharatiya Divas Day in January, and that was significant. And Prof is doing the same with the Girmitiyalogy Network, him and everyone else. Next slide, please. So it's about ancestral healing. It's about healing through culture to spirituality, to narratives, connecting with ancestors, restores our identity. And it's actually medicine for us. We may not realize it, but yes, it's not medicine that you take, a pill that you take, but it is a medicine in a form of something that you can't actually see. You can't actually take with water, but it is a medicine, and medicine and tradition can work together. Next slide. And that's where I come in terms of being an ambassador. And as you've heard, you know, people have been sharing their stories. It's not just me sharing my stories. You've heard of documentaries just now. You've heard from Vic, from Dr. Sita, from others, from Pat, and everyone else here who's shared these stories. So stories preserve history, narratives heal community, and storytelling bridges science and spirituality. So it's not just important for academic purposes. Yes, the academic research, which I will be part of and am part of, is very important. But the reasons why is because it's bridging that gap of science, spirituality, medicine, healing, and honoring our ancestors. Next slide, please. So it's bridging the gap of academia and community. Any ancestor, if you think back, any of you now, just take a moment, think of a story of an ancestor. Think of your ancestor, the journey from India that they made, the 150 to 184 that made that journey from India to South Africa, and the 100,000 others that went to other countries. Each of them started with a journey from India. They continued with a life with indenture, under a contract as Girmitiyas, and we can agree to disagree on the definition. But Girmitiya is something which is recognized. It is a term that's recognized, and it is something used by Narendra Modi. It is something our Girmitiya, Girmitiyalogy acknowledges, and Prof acknowledges as well. And we need to respect one another and honor these Girmitiyas. This is the most important thing for me. If you can take one message from me, it's about honoring our ancestors and these Girmitiyas. It's about survival. It's about thinking about that history, that your ancestor that you thought about just a minute ago or 2 minutes ago. Think about their survival, the resistance, the legacy they've left behind. They've left to you, and you to continue with that legacy, and how important that is, how important they were. Just remember, they are so much more important than we are. And think about what lessons have they gone through? Have they shown us how much courage and hope we can have so that we can move forward through anything that we are faced with in life, and how far we have come in this journey. Our Girmitiyas and my great-grandmother, as I said, and obviously my parents, Primla, Vartha, and Dina Mudlia, they basically, our Girmitiyas are like the batons in Olympics, you know, where they pass the light. They pass that light, they pass that torch to us, and for us to move forward with the legacy. And it's the same, it's what's happening here today in the ICC. We as ambassadors are doing that. Prof. Shadanan is helping us. He's steering the ship, helping us pass that baton on, and driving that force for all our ancestors. Next slide, please. So yes, my involvement, as I said, is also to do with articles and publication, and I am quite involved with research and writing, and I love writing. And I encourage anyone, if it's in a form of a poem, if it's in a form of a blog, or even just having a conversation over your dinner, or sending someone a message saying, do you remember this person? Do you remember our ancestor? Just start the conversation. It doesn't have to be that you have to publicize it, you have to go on social media, but just start those conversations, start the storytelling, start talking about the ancestors. And this is what my role as an ambassador is. If I can be an example of doing it and everyone else that's doing it, just start it. It could be something simple as remembering the recipe they make, or honoring them on their anniversaries, or writing stories about them, or letting family members know, let's honor this day today of our Girmitiyalogy. So just, start that. As Indians and our culture, we already do that, but it's just doing it in a more personal way of honoring that specific ancestor or those specific ancestors, like we do when we do Pitted Park prayers. So it's exactly that. It's Pitted Park. The storytelling is our Pitted Park. This Girmitiyalogy is our Pitted Park. And yes, it's about looking at migration and diaspora studies, looking at intergenerational trauma, changing the narrative, getting youth involved. And yes, my journey started because I wanted to honor my ancestors, honor my my parents, but also because I wanted my 3 children to know where they came from. And this was one of the whys why I wanted to do this and why I'm continuing to do it, so that they can look back and know where they've come from and that I've traced my family and my family roots. It's about looking at the health disparities. And if you've been following the ICC, please do follow, because they've been having a lot of talks. And one of the talks, I was involved on the cardiology talk and also on the communicable diseases for alcohol. And in my research of just looking at those topics, what I found is definitely there were health disparities because of the indentureship. Our families, obviously, they developed habits, and also they were impacted. The health illnesses and the disorders that we see today is a lot to do with our ancestors. And if you've heard that now, you will realize that, yes, we always say, oh, yes, my mom had diabetes, my dad had cholesterol, my mom had heart disease. It's because it's transported through generations, and there is definite health disparities. So I'll be involved more in that, in health education and awareness and education, and the mental health aspect as well, which is very important. So it's about cultural memories and archives, as you've heard, looking at getting involved with different conferences, attending, being part of it, partaking, and also being part of museums and other places where they document the history. Pat, as I've mentioned, she did the Northumbria conference. And if anyone visits the UK in the Northumbria, there is, at the Discovery Museum, there is a collection of her, the archives of her ancestors. So just imagine someone has traced their family roots and have actually, in the UK, from Trinidad, has the picture of the ship and the photo of the grandparents and great-grandparents. Forgive me, Pat, if I haven't remembered the details correctly, but in a museum in the UK, and traced to the ship of where the ship had come from, Newcastle. The ship was built in Newcastle. That ship was a same ship that transported the indentured, her family, to Trinidad. And now that's in a museum. And we have that in other museums which Prof has visited. So Prof can share more about that, and part of the Bihar, the glass, with Chandan, and also in Delhi as well. So there's many other, and the Nehru archives as well. So there's so many different museums, and it's about us, in South Africa, the 1860, the indentured Salvan Naidu, Yatin Singh, Une, and all the others that are guardians of our archives, and Reggie Naidu, who helps people to trace their ancestors in South Africa. All of these people are also continuing to do it, not just the 1860, but there's many others that are doing it in South Africa and globally. So it's about me getting more involved in all of that globally. So it's also about the domain of immigration of the Girmitiyas from India to European colonies during the British times. Next slide, please. And I think I will be...
Dr. Seshni. Hi,
Yes.
Dr. Seshni. Could you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, great. We are way past our time. It's now
Okay.
5:38. So would you mind please just making your closing comments?
Yes, sure. Yes, sure. Can you just move on? Thank you. I do apologize. Next slide. Next slide, please. Yeah. Next slide. Yeah. So actually we're on the last two. Can you just go back to the last two slides? Naveen, sorry. Thank you so much. We were almost at the end. So yes, the future of Girmitiyalogy is looking very positive. And if we recap on the 2025, it was a very successful year. And I'm sure everyone here will agree. We had conferences all over the world and a lot in India and UK, South Africa, Trinidad, all over, Mauritius. So it's been a very successful year, and I'm looking forward to participating in 2026 with other global academic networks, with Lucknow University, with Banaras University, with Trinidad, and with everyone else in India and South Africa and globally, working collaboratively. It's about looking at the digital archives and the India. When I read about Narendra Modi, India is involved in, and Prof will agree, India is already, the government is trying to trying to get to preserve this, but there is still some difficulty. As you heard earlier, it's difficult to know the exact language. It's about sharing on storytelling platforms, looking at health and policy research and creative arts and literature in the form of media and documentaries and film and radio, which I'm regularly involved with. Next slide, please. And my final words is, this really matters. And as I said, I was so emotional, and I realize it's because we really, really need to honor our ancestors. And when you get that realization for yourself, when that penny drops, when you get that light bulb moment, like Einstein got his moment, then you realize that we really need to honor our ancestors. And whether you take a minute a day or a minute a week or 5 minutes a week, just honor your ancestors. Do it wherever you are, in a prayer, honoring them with flowers, with food, with fruit, rituals, charity, getting involved with platforms like this in Girmitology. Do it. And that's where I come in as an ambassador. I'm here to motivate you. If you need a cheerleader, I'm here. And I know my ancestors are looking down upon all of us, and all our ancestors are smiling because they know that we are driving this force with Prof and the Girmitology. And it's about healing. Really, my involvement is about healing, that healing is possible. We can change the narrative. And I love what Vic said, because it's about being a winner. It's about realizing that we are all winners and about shaping the future. Thank you so much. Dandiavad, Dandiavalu, and thank you everyone. Namaste. Thank you for listening to me. And please do get in contact with me. Thank you for listening.
Thank you very much, Dr. Seshni. At this point in time, I want to introduce Dr. Kumar Mahabir, who will make a few comments in his role as the continental leader for Girmitiyalogy operations, 2026 to 2029.
Well, you have put me on the spot, and
I
we are
know,
out of time.
and
We
I
are
apologize
out
for
of
doing so,
time.
but I think
Really,
bringing the
really
program to
out
a
of
close,
time. And
please
today
do.
I have an emergency.
Yes.
Imagine that. Of all the
Yes.
days,
Yeah,
I have an emergency to attend.
I do agree with you. We have to limit the times.
Yes, look at the time. Look at the
Managing.
time. I am
Time
sorry,
managing.
but
Okay.
I can't.
But
I
you
can't.
please go on. You start. No, you are. No. Go on, please.
Okay, so I have been appointed the leader of the Continental Girmitia group, and I have to network with a lot of people and institutions and organizations and universities and so on to bring to the fore knowledge and recognition and promotion of Girmitology, which is a new and emerging academic discipline. And I have to work very hard because it's almost a global network that I have to establish, and not only establish, but we have to get things done. This forum is not about promoting ourselves, what we have written, what we have published, where we have spoken, what we have done. At the end, what have we done? This is what counts. What have we done for Girmitology, not for ourselves?
Sure.
right? We have to look at the bigger picture. Thank you.
Maybe there is an encyclopedia is starting, the synopsis is ready, and we'll get 10 PhD scholars to work on this. But it is more you will be one of the leaders.
You mean
Terrific.
Shalima?
Okay.
Thank you very much. So, ladies and gentlemen, we've heard from our 4 Girmitiyalogy ambassadors, our 3. We've heard from 3 Girmitiyalogy ambassadors, and let me just introduce you to the 4th. Professor Emeritus Dr. Chan Chuni is a 4th generation Indian from Suriname. He's a distinguished scholar of social sciences and migration history. He has graciously accepted the voluntary role of Girmitiyalogy ambassador, as all the others have. It's a voluntary role. The role that Dr. Mahabir is playing is voluntary. The role that I am playing is also voluntary, and the others. At least we hope that will be the case. And we hope to bring more people on board. A little more about Dr. Chuni. He's educated in the Netherlands. He obtained his PhD in 1995 and later served as professor at VU University in Amsterdam, alongside having senior roles in the Dutch government and national advisory bodies. Dr. Chuni has published extensively, including History of the Hindustanis 1873 to 2023. His Girmitiyalogy work focuses on recruitment systems in India, 1833 to 1920, and the tracing of Girmitya lineages through archival recovery. He strongly advocates urgent research and Indian academic engagement to restore this lost history and preserve global Girmitya heritage. And I absolutely support him in that final statement, and I hope we get the support of all of you all in the audience as well. So as we bring today's program to a close, I want to say thank you very much to all the ambassadors for accepting their voluntary roles. And I have an expectation that there are several persons in the audience who would like to join us on this particular journey to continue, but to educate about our ancestors. You've heard a lot of information today. It will be available on our website. It will be available on the recordings. And I want to say thank you very much. Please send us. Dr. Mahabir and I are already on board, and you have our details.
You didn't tell who
Feel
you are.
free.
You are the president of? Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes, Baba, sorry. I'm the president of the Girmitiyalogy Operation Council Board, or at least I've been appointed by Baba to perform that particular role. Thank you very much, Baba. And I look forward to being able to work with as many people as is possible so that we can indeed tell the stories of our ancestors and protect that knowledge. So, ladies and gentlemen, please send us your details if you would like to join us on this particular journey, and let us know how you would like to join us, whether it is through the promotion of Girmitiyalogy as an academic discipline, or to write courses, to teach courses, to facilitate in some way, as well as to produce films and assist with providing us with the resources which you've already produced in terms of books, films, poetry, whatever you've already done by way of Indian indentureship and your ancestry. Let's pull this thing together.
And also to take part on the Jawaharlal Nehru conference.
Yes.
Everyone can present a paper, but they can make contact with you. And I have put you and Dr. Kumar Mahabir in the organization committee. I didn't ask you, but you
Thank
are
you
on
very
board.
much. So
Okay.
we've already contributed that call for papers, specimen call for papers, which you're welcome to use, and I hope you use the themes. Wonderful.
Thank
So,
you.
ladies and gentlemen, we will go ahead and circulate the call for papers once it is completed with all the details. Thank you very much for your time. I'll turn you all over now to Ashley.
Thank you, all of you. Hariyo. Ashirvad.
That was a very packed day today that we crammed so much today. So a lot of information there. So thank you very much again, Shalima, and thank you for being a very awesome moderator. And thank you to all the presenters for their brilliant presentations. So our topic next Sunday will be the significance of history, particularly Indian indentureship. Please remember to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel to see all our past recordings. I am Ashley Sinanan from Trinidad and Tobago in the Caribbean saying goodbye. May God bless you all. Dhanyavad.
Done.